A fish is clapping.
Are there any fish that can clap?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, are there?
Yeah, it's a stingray, a fish. He kind of
He can fold himself in half.
yeah
Like
slaps his wings together.
Because like flying fish, they're I mean, what are they in the foot? Like, because they've got little wings, don't they? That they kind of pop
They
out.
can't reach around their body though.
No. Okay.
Stops them from clapping. They can kind of
Get
slap themselves.
belly slaps.
Become territorial marker. See which is the kingfish.
Kingfishers. That's a good bird.
They're the one that swoop down.
Get slightly underneath.
Under the river.
The shopping centre in my hometown is the Kingfisher Centre. Its logo is a kingfisher. It's got nothing to do with kingfishers. I think they demolished a pond where they lived. So in homage to those dead,
The things that used to
dead
be.
birds. Yeah, there's now a Kingfisher Mall.
Fantastic. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Trufax podcast.
Episode 3. Can you believe it? We've made it this far. It feels like we've been doing this for years.
This week, as always, we have Ed Sanders,
Good evening.
Dan Hills,
Good morning.
and myself, Ryder Smith. So, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
What's the topic this week?
Well, it's all about questions, this show, so I suppose it's right to ask a question.
Good start. So I'm going to re-ask that question. What is this week's topic?
The universe.
The universe.
The entire universe.
Everything.
Every single thing in the universe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's such a vast topic, isn't it?
But my understanding of the universe is that it is basically everything.
Yeah, like...
I think that's the first line of the Wikipedia article, in fact.
The universe
The universe is everything, and then that's it.
Well, but why then is there a distinct word for the universe and not just why is there? Why don't you just say everything?
Well, I don't know.
Humans tend to like to name
Humans?
Humans,
Are we-
humans, yeah, the seeds and the herb.
Is that what Q-Bert is?
A human made out of spices.
I feel we generally like to classify things. It helps us comprehend our surroundings. It's like, oh, that's a wall. No, that's not a good example.
Well, that is a classification of types.
Yeah,
but-
it is all around us right now.
There are 4 of them.
Yeah, but it helps us deal with our surroundings, I guess.
So does the universe include emotions?
Ooh.
That's its own universe, isn't it?
Like
The universe of emotions.
So this is an important distinction. There are 2 universes. There's a
Tuniverses.
tuna
Oh, no, I got the table, sorry.
universe is made of tuna fish. There are 2 universes. There's one inside people's heads. There's the universe in your mind, and then there's the universe of the world.
So everyone has their own conceived universe because it's all based on your own point of view and experience, but then there is all this other stuff that is happening regardless of how you look at it.
You like Pixar films, Ed? Are you just talking about Inside Out here? The universe that exists within us all, and then the universe that we're actually in. Have you seen Inside Out?
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is one
Both
film
left hands. You love
you've
Pixar.
seen that I haven't. I do love Pixar.
I do recommend Inside Out.
Yeah.
It is basically the most realistic portrayal of depression I've ever seen in a movie.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is generally fantastic. It's heartwarming. Inside Out, I recommend it. One of the best films of the year.
It was under my radar. Like, it just didn't click. I didn't see it. Should have.
It felt like it didn't have a catch for me. Like, Cars was about cars, and I like cars. And Ratatouille is about restaurants. Rats, yeah.
It's about emotions.
Yeah. I like being...
I would say
I
there's
like
more of a
having
hook there than there is about
Cars.
restaurants.
No, I don't experience emotions.
Just love restaurant films.
Yeah.
My universe, what is my universe? Yeah, I'd probably go with the whole internal thing, if I was describing it. But then the universe is huge.
Well, so can we get scales here? So we go. What does it go? You've got like got our planet, solar system, galaxy.
Galaxy, yeah. We're in the Milky Way.
Is that our galaxy?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's the next one up? Is that then the universe, or is there's other galaxies?
The universe basically is everything, isn't it? So it's beyond all that. It's the last point you get to before you hit infinity, until you get to infinity plus 1.
So is the universe expanding into infinity?
The scientists think the universe is expanding.
Yeah.
Potentially. Well, don't they think it's going to come back on itself at some point as well?
Like a big elastic band.
Yeah, or is it like a loop?
Why wouldn't we feel this? Does it feel like it's expanding or contracting to you?
It's like a heartbeat is how I've heard it described. So it was the Big Bang that's pushed everything out. And eventually where that Big Bang occurred, there's going to be an equal and opposite force that brings everything back to nothingness.
I guess it's just this weird thing of like no one has any conclusive evidence or anything that can actually prove any of these theories. Like no one knows anything about any of this stuff. They've got good ideas and they've come up with theories that can kind of fit things, but like we've never seen to where what the universe is expanding into and can't really comprehend how large it actually is. Like it could, for all we know, like right now we're talking about it expanding, like it's doing it at the moment. But
have you seen Men in Black?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In that film, the entire universe, or at least the entire galaxy, is kept on the colour of a cat.
Yeah.
the chain is on Orion's belt. Sorry if you've not seen the film.
Yeah.
Pretty big spoiler there. But yeah, I mean, do you think that could be somewhere where they are? We're stuck in like with a twinkle in someone's eye in some god.
I like that.
It's a great way of phrasing it. Maybe. Or just an idea they had, an accident. It just spunked up into the cosmos. Here we are.
I like that idea of things being contained within themselves when they're in it. If you know what I mean, like, you're drinking a bowl of soup and you're looking at the soup, and then you zoom really far into the soup and you get down to the atomic level of the soup, and then like it all comes full circle and you're outside of the soup again, looking at the soup.
Wasn't there a hospital drama in the 90s in Elsewhere?
About soup?
No, it wasn't about soup, but it's like a similar thing. It was like a hospital drama, or like I don't know, I've never seen it, but
Casualty.
The big spoiler at the end is that they're all inside a snow globe or something.
Oh.
Wait.
And then there's a guy shaking a snow globe.
Rosebud.
Citizen Kane.
There's a snow globe in that.
Yeah. That's where I got confused. Yeah, it's definitely Citizen Kane. It's about a hospital inside a snow globe. And at the end, he's sitting on Rosebud, slaying away.
We might have to get our fact checker on that one, because it does sound like you've actually seen this.
I've never seen it, which is why we shouldn't fact check it, because I might be proven wrong. Sin Elsewhere. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
Email us. We've got an email address, by the way.
What is it? What is our email address, Dan?
I can't remember.
Trufaxpodcast@gmail.com.
Sounds good.
Wait,
email that. We'll set it up if we haven't already.
Give it a try.
I'll check the one that we've actually got.
I think it is.
I got emailed.
Don't start checking.
We've got a Twitter too.
No, I mean it's okay just to check our own name, is it not?
Has anyone emailed us?
No, Twitter have. Twitter have said you should tweet, or like, do you know how to tweet?
That's so patronising.
It is.
Twitter is its own little universe as well. It's another universe I don't fully comprehend.
I mean, there's people in it, but I've never met anyone who's actually been on Twitter. No one's ever talked to me about, I tweeted this, or I was on Twitter this and that.
Do people do that in real life?
Obviously, you've never real life tweet.
No one said that.
Are there boundaries to the universes then? You're saying that once you're on the Twitterverse, you can't then spread into the
you can't say what you've said there.
The outerverse.
Yeah.
I say, it's an opinion for Twitter and Twitter alone. It's a very short and concise opinion you've had, not to be repeated anywhere else.
To clarify, our email is trufaxpodcast@gmail.com, just in case you did want to send anything. I don't know what our Twitter is.
At Trufax Podcast.
No.
Mm-hmm. So let's take the first question.
How many universes are there?
Well, we've discussed a couple already. There's the Twitterverse. There's
mental universe.
The actual universe, the inside universe. There's the universe where cars are real. From
cars
the film
are real in this universe.
Yeah. Well, they can talk.
Well, there's
talking cars are real.
Carsville.
There is that theory that all of the Pixar films take place in the same
one universe.
So
we've got the Pixar universe. There's the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
There's
Star Wars universe.
Star Wars universe, no longer the expanded universe, which begs the question: can a universe cease to exist? Yes, it can, because it's not canon anymore. There's student poetry, the universe. Thank you.
Have you been? Is that the one that you said earlier?
Been sitting on that. Yeah. Thank
Good.
you. I'm just going to say that again: student poetry, universe. verse.
It's worth a second say.
It is.
We're going to isolate that. We're just going to release that as the podcast.
It's universe.
Yeah,
over and
if
over
you let
again.
me do the editing this week, that's what it's going to be.
How many? So string theory says that there are X amount of them, doesn't it?
It says there's 9 dimensions, at least.
So
Is a dimension a universe? Or
No,
are
because we live in 3 dimensions, or maybe even 4 if you count time as one of them. Right
okay.
now.
Yeah. Okay, but that's like those dimensions are taking place in the same universe.
So would every universe have the same number of different dimensions?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say that couldn't happen. I don't know. I mean, we can have like 4 dimensions in our universe. I'm sure there'd be a universe where you could have 5 or 12 or 6 or
and I guess
50.
it's that, like, we can only perceive X amount of dimensions in our universe, but there could be like beings that are 5th dimensional.
Like, isn't that a pretty like key thing in sci-fi? It's a big trope where these advanced beings can access extra dimensions that we can't, and that's what enables them to travel through time or kind of have these perceptions of other worldly goings on. They can see and witness and manipulate things that we can't, but that do actually exist in our universe.
The aliens in Independence Day, they could read minds.
Yeah, maybe that's another.
So is that a dimension, the thought dimension? Because technically we have that, but we can't.
But we can't access each
tap
other's.
into it.
But can you? Can you?
Kanye West.
What am I thinking?
About blue cheese.
No,
I think you want to drink some beer.
I do now. So, well,
No, you're
that's
a
a different
powerful
thing.
being,
That's
Ed,
Oh, really? Am I influencing thoughts? Okay,
Yeah,
everyone
you're not just
subscribe
reading
to our
them, you are.
podcast.
And how do we do that?
Do what?
Subscribe to our podcast.
Click on the subscribe button. I think.
The fact you're listening to this means you've found it. Well done.
Yeah,
I guess
so
we'll never know how many.
do you think everybody's inside their own universe? I mean, what about crazy people? What about people who get locked in mental asylums? Are they like in another universe?
I think it's like
In their brain.
people create their own worlds, don't they? Like it's a defense mechanism, almost a coping mechanism. You live in your own little world. If you do kind of go crazy or slightly unhinged, is that? I don't know, maybe it's tapping into something that...
Do you reckon those people are telling themselves like a story or something?
Yeah.
Well, the stories the universes you mentioned were like Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's a story, right?
It's a whole bunch of stories, very
cleverly
interlinked.
But I mean, that's what people's lives are to an extent. Like maybe if everyone is having their own universes and we all just keep on kind of dipping in and out of each other's and just kind of influencing them.
If you think of like
schizophrenia,
schizophrenia, for instance, where you've got multiple personalities who are kind of inhabiting their own, it's their own world. Kind of, it's not necessarily a universe as a universe would want to be described. It's kind of world creating almost. So have you seen Identity? It's got one of the actors in.
One of the actors,
Kevin Spacey. It's like a noir thriller kind of thing. But it turns out, here's a spoiler, that all the characters are in one man's brain.
Oh my god, so that is a universe in his head.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's a universe that's very small. Like it's not as infinitesimal as.
How would you describe your universe to somebody?
paranoid.
Why? I need more information than that. That sounds like a difficult way to live your life.
That's more just my own paranoia that influences that. My actual universe.
What are you worried about?
Happy. I don't know. I'm worried about not knowing anything. I guess
that's what Trufax is for.
That's what Trufax is for. I guess I'm worried about things that people tell me, and I want to go along and have that knowledge imparted to me. But then I'm just what if they're not telling the truth to me? And what if
I got really paranoid at a party once.
Yeah,
when some chemicals that one can put in one's body can sometimes have opposite effects.
Yeah.
To the other one, and it made me really paranoid. And I ended up quizzing some guy on when he moved to the city that I was living in, and that sort of utter belief that this guy was lying to me.
Yeah.
What was that paranoia based in? Like, why were you afraid that he was lying to you? What was his end goal?
I can't explain it. I mean, I feel like he was just trying to lie to me to see how far he could get with the lies.
Like, there's no kind of reason he's out to get you or anything. He's not the man in this example.
He wasn't, a sleeper CIA agent or...
Yeah. You just thought he was lying to you and you didn't know why.
And I had to find out. Yeah. I had to trip him up, by making two parts of his story not match up.
I see.
Yeah.
I guess... Like, it's more... I think mine stems from having moved away from home and still kind of being in that first phase of, like, not having a lot of people that I've known for a long time that I know massive well. Like,
you don't know where the trust lies.
Yeah. Like, as in I trust you guys. I believe the things you tell me.
That's
your first mistake.
Yeah. But I actually would say...
If you had to tell us something that we were to believe that would impact our universes...
We're in a simulation.
Oh, God.
Is it the Matrix?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. No, I don't think there's any one thing that you can say. I think it's nice to know that everyone has those sorts of same feelings. Like I mean, I've been in a similar sort of state of mind at times, and have quizzed people that I'm talking to, trying to basically believe that they're like, the proverbial man is out to get me. But that's not necessarily true. Like I was crossing the road on my way home from the train station earlier, and this woman was like looking after this old guy who was trying to cross the road, and it was just a bit slow at moving. It started raining. He said that he'd be all right, and I was going the same way as him. So I just he was walking really slowly, but I just kind of spent the time making sure he got to his bus stop. And it's like there's lots of little times throughout your day that you can do nice things for people like that, and I think that's what is like nice about the universe that we're in. It's just the kind of little like coincidences and happenstances that you can just be in the right place at the right time to help someone. But that's what I go with at the time, and then it's on reflection that I'm like, what did I just do? And it's like I think that's more my own thought process that causes me to have those issues.
Do you ever worry that you've just imagined everything? That's something I will do often late at night. I think everything is just a construct in my own mind.
Yeah.
What we're doing here, I'm just like dreaming that this is happening. It's never actually happened. But then what brings me back round to reality is that I have these weird lucid dreams, usually in the morning, like 4 or 5 o'clock. I'll wake up a bit too early. And then I'll play out like a whole day in my life that I'm in full control of, although I'm kind of largely asleep. And then wake up and realise I have to do the exact same thing again. Like, it's so mundane, but it's quite perfect. And then when I go through my actual day and there's the odd little fuck-up or mishap, that makes me realise that what I am experiencing now is real. Because if I'd been imagining it, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Isn't that like the end of About Time? Like he can time travel and then just like plays out a day, then does it twice.
Does it again to get the right version. Yeah, but I do it the opposite way, in that I play it out perfectly. Everything is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I realise I have to actually do it. And it just doesn't live up to my initial kind of my first draft of the script.
Yeah.
I hit some hiccups along the way. The budget isn't there for me to do what I need to.
The musical number.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. I've got there with one headphone on, the other one's not working. Run out of data, can't listen to the song anymore. Yeah, and then it starts raining. It's just terrible.
I sometimes get in the shower and have go through thoughts in my head like I win arguments that I would have otherwise lost, or that have never occurred. These situations, or think about situations that wouldn't, or think like when I really wanted to come up with a good comeback to something, couldn't think of what to say at the time, and then just come up with the right thing.
Yeah.
But do you go beyond that thought and you then replay the whole conversation?
Oh yeah.
And then like the preceding days, years after that, where you've made this great comeback and suddenly you're the king of the world.
Well, these things could have happened years ago. They could have, and I could be in a completely different situation now. And then other times, if it's about something that's happened recently, sometimes I start to believe that it's happened, even though it hasn't.
Yeah.
And I start to wonder why this person still treats me like shit when I won that argument so well against them.
It just never happened.
It was all in my brain.
Yeah.
Brains are powerful.
It's easy to delude is quite a strong word, but it is basically what we are all doing to ourselves on a daily basis. Yeah, we're deluding ourselves to think we've led the perfect life, we've had the perfect argument that everyone is out to get us when they're not. I think yours is the opposite of what me and Ed do. We lie to ourselves to better it, whereas you're experiencing your life, you're like, oh shit, everyone's out to get me. This is terrible.
It's changing. I think, like, you know, I maybe didn't help myself in a lot of that situation. It's like, you know, I'm gonna try and start exercising, going for runs. That will help my inner angst.
That's therapy. Physical therapy of sorts. Not in the massage sense.
Well, no, I mean I do physiotherapy anyway, but like, but that doesn't help that.
Can there even be multiple universes? If the universe is in itself everything, would any other universe therefore be part of?
This is a very good
universe.
Question. Do we use this word a bit too flexibly?
And like awesome.
That's awesome. Literally,
like the universe is awesome in the awe sense. Like
it's probably the one thing that could inspire the most awe out of anything, because it is by definition the biggest, the most. Like, it contains everything.
Yeah.
It's literally 14 billion years old. Scientists have never seen light that's older than this universe, and that's how they know how far away the edge of the universe is, and yet...
Awesome does sound like a bit of an understatement, the way it's currently used. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty rad. This big celestial body that's potentially infinite. This is pretty cool.
And,
I agree. We do kind of abuse the... Or maybe we're not describing it correctly because we don't properly understand it yet. Like,
What is? Yeah, I think we've answered it. I reckon there's just one universe.
Really? Like, what about the infinity and that meaning all the eventual?
Everything else is inside our universe. It's all encapsulated.
Yeah. So the universe is the catch-all.
Yeah.
It's the big reusable shopping bag that you've put all your groceries in,
or an IKEA bag. You know, you can get them for 5 pence at IKEA.
Doesn't surprise me.
But, like, considering a plastic bag is 5 pence, like, elsewhere.
Yeah, and they replace them when they become worn out.
Do they?
Yeah, you take them in.
I went to a crayfish party at IKEA once. You can't get
a party with crayfish, like...
Yeah, they were there, they were invited, and then we killed them and ate them ritualistically. No, they were trying to break the world record for, like, the biggest crayfish party in the world, and so all the IKEAs... What's so funny about that?
It doesn't seem like it would be that hard.
No. So all the IKEAs around
world
the world...
World record used to be great. There used to be an achievement.
But I think the world record was just done in one place, whereas this was like remote parties, but they all were the same party at the same time, under the same banner. But it was like £10 to get in. It was all you could eat crayfish. They gave you a little bib. They sang some songs. You got some boiled potatoes as well. Crayfish and boiled potatoes.
Sounds like a
good meal.
It was fantastic, yeah. It's great. It was after hours IKEA. Yeah. Like, they were just letting you in to go to the crayfish party.
Was it like the advert where the after hours IKEA is just full of cats everywhere, just roaming around?
No, it's crayfish. Just crayfish.
That's why you don't normally see crayfish.
That's why they've got the cats in there now to clean up. There's just little crayfish legs hiding around still.
What are those ones that you'd find washed up on the sea every now and then that look a bit like polystyrene?
Is it just polystyrene? There's a lot of shit in the sea.
Kind of like a kind of long dome-ish. Like, okay, so it's kind
jellyfish.
of like that at the front, and then it goes back, and then it's just like...
An orca whale.
No, it's small and white. It's kind of like a curved dome that goes into a bit of a triangle at the front.
Is it a used condom?
I think it's a dead crayfish.
No. A curved dome?
Yeah. They've got no triangles on them really either.
Just a conch shell? Is that what you're thinking of?
I'll come back to it.
Do you think fish in the sea, do you think they ride the waves as the waves are coming? Do you reckon they find like excitement in that?
Well, it's like dolphins follow the jet streams of like boats and stuff, and flying fish fly next to boats in the films. So I assume that they might enjoy jumping on a wave.
Yeah, like do animals like have the same sort of pleasure receptors in them that we do?
Dolphins
like
do.
Are they that developed that they can decide if they're having a fun time or not? Like, can they differentiate between that and a bad time?
Or is it just a consider like
did they experience melancholy?
I've seen a duck use a slide before.
Did it look like it was having fun?
But it used it more than once.
Oh, yes.
Or is that just a behaviour it's learned? So it did the slide and thought,
it's like, you know, when
I'm going to try this again. I'm not sure how I felt. And now it's just
why,
sliding infinitely.
Why
and it still doesn't know.
So it's like stuck in a loop.
Yeah, it does. It, like,
surely we can harness that for power somehow. Duck slides. Duck slides.
Yeah, just put like a little wheel at the bottom,
duck
they
station.
hit it and it spins. Yeah, I saw some pandas going down a slide on YouTube, not in real life. They were having the best time.
I feel these examples answer your question. There are some animals that have enjoyment from things. It's like, you know how when you're going down it, like, so there was a hill nearby where I'm from that, like, when you'd go down it, I'd get a little bit of like a ooh, like the sort of feeling that you do when you're on a roller coaster. That sort of excitement. In
Your stomach goes up.
Yeah. Like, I think that's a physical thing that's just based on, like, you know that something weird is happening. So I'm sure animals feel
But that's more of like a physical reaction. So the duck may be getting kind of the stomach in his head feeling when he's going down the slide, but is he actually thinking, oh, this is amazing?
When else do ducks get adrenaline rushes? You know, when they're being chased by foxes.
Or terrapins.
Yeah.
Terrapins.
Do they chase ducks?
I assume so.
Well, fair enough. Consider
it
true.
With the snappy beaks.
Yeah, the really snappy beaks.
That's got to hurt a duck if it gets caught in that.
Yeah.
Could break
Poor feet.
I got attacked by a swan recently. I was by a lock. I was trying to take a photo of a swan. He'd just been standing doing nothing. Like he was like a statue of a swan. Like he was baiting me. And I crouched very close to him, got a great photo. And the minute I stood up to be like, yeah, I got this photo, he just started chasing me. And you hear those stories about swans breaking people's arms, like killing children and stuff. I thought it was going to be me. Yeah. I think I could beat a swan in a fight.
They'll usually rob you as well.
So rob you?
They'll take your wallet.
Break your arm, just pickpocket you and fuck off.
Take a photo of
gangsters really are.
And then they'll swan off. I'm on fire today.
As a quick thing to earlier, I've now found out that the thing that washed up on the beach was a cuttlefish.
They're really clever.
Are they?
Yeah, they can change colour. Like, chameleons can, but only better. They can, like, adapt to patterns and backgrounds. Like, if you put them on a white and black checked floor, or floor in their fish tank, they will change their skin to
be the pattern.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't they go almost transparent as well in certain circumstances?
That's what a dead one looks
like. Very gossamer. Can you eat them?
Never tried.
I feel like I've seen
you can kind of eat anything, can't you?
Like they just
if you could, it'd be on the menu for a Chinese.
That
takeaway.
man who like the man who ate a plane, like bit by
what?
Yeah, bit by bit.
Did he turn into one?
No.
I used to
How
get
is that more ludicrous than the man who eats the plane in the first place?
Surely the plane would have turned into a man because he's been bitten by a man. Plane man. He's got the ability to fly, but he's got no hands anymore. He's got wings and jets for feet.
Question 2. If you could have control over any universal constant, be that light, the speed of sound, other universal constants, what would it be and why?
Can you define the idea of a universal constant? Is it something that is always there and is like like light you mentioned? Is light scientifically proven to be a constant at this point, or does it?
The speed of light's constant, isn't it?
No,
is it though?
It isn't. It's fluctuating.
Because isn't it faster depending
on which medium?
Where you are, and don't they say, like, if you are like in space looking down at the Earth, you can see light in certain places before it actually hits the people who are in the...
Yeah, I think there was like a lot of debate about it, and then because of like the fact that for a lot of like mathematical formulas and stuff, you probably need to have a constant, and it can't always be a variable. They defined it as the time that light takes in a couple of times that they measured it for it to go a meter, and they measured that, and that is now set as, by definition, as the speed of light. So the speed of light.
How did they know how long a meter was?
Ooh, they used a measuring tape.
What does that change all the time?
Well, because it's just like they defined that themselves, and that was the set thing that we've all agreed is a meter long.
Okay.
So, like...
But then that argues if they're doing that to measure light, why didn't they just go, well, this is the speed of light? Let's just agree on that.
Well, I think because there were so many... I think it's more they changed the definition for the term the speed of light, and it is now the speed that it takes for that thing to go that far, and that far is a meter.
What is the speed of light?
It's really fast.
Like 3,000 metres a second or something? Something like that. It's the constant that you use in mathematics is a c, I think.
Yeah.
And like the E equals mc squared, the c part is a
light
constant. The speed of light in a vacuum. It's not in air or water because that changes.
So is the speed of light from a lamp the same speed of light from the sun? Is light just its own thing? Like, is it the same sort of light?
Well, from the sun it is travelling through a vacuum, or 99.9% vacuum, I think. Whereas from there it's travelling through air.
Okay. So would that slow it down when it comes into our atmosphere? Then
too much. Like it refracts it, it bends, it changes its direction, but it doesn't necessarily... Like, given how fast it is, it doesn't really make a noticeable difference, does it?
I think the question that you're really asking is what X-Men power would you have?
I guess it was more like, if you could, in the reality that we all have, or in your own realities, if you could have control over something that I guess is menial, but your own creativity could, make fun of it.
Yeah, time is exactly what I was thinking.
I mean...
So I'm not going to say it now.
The ability to travel through time and to go back and forwards, or maybe not necessarily go back, because that, as a constant, is quite... But at least to stop time, like when it gets really busy and you just want to take 5 minutes to put your feet up and everyone else is like, wow, wow, wow. And you're just like, well, I can stop time. And just put your feet up.
And they'd never believe you as well because you
face.
One thing I've never understood with kind of these people who can freeze time, as if they're does time still continue for you?
Yeah, do you still?
Or do you suddenly stop experiencing time as well? Because the fact you're still moving around,
there seems to be quite a consistent thing where it's if you're holding on to someone when you stop time.
Yeah.
But is it only...
But so let's say you top time. Let's say you do that for kind of an indefinite period.
Okay.
So let's say the period of what your natural lifespan would be. You've just decided to stop time.
Would I age?
Are you going to age, or are you just?
I don't know, because
you're basically immortal.
You look at your watch when you've stopped time, and your watch doesn't tick. So I'm guessing that the normal aging processes don't.
They don't that force doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So you've literally just put a stop to all time.
I mean, if we get too scientific, this whole thing's going to fall apart.
Do you know if your phone would still work? Because then does the battery go down? Does that
you're going to call
time? I guess it's more. No, your battery's fine. You're using Google Maps or something like that.
Yeah. How powerful are you when you're controlling this?
I guess the way that I'm saying it, a universal constant, you're doing it on a universe level. You're basically stopping time everywhere.
My only concern would be if I'd. No, I'm not concerned about them because I stop their time as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't there a film about the time police?
Time bandits?
No, that's the opposite.
There's no.
There must be Chrono Men. The time cops. Time cops.
I feel like that.
Time cop. Time cop. That's a thing.
R.I.P.D.
No. Time cop. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
RoboCop.
Oh,
no, Time cop. He's a policeman who
time
travels in time.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Flies back through time.
Takes time for these things to sink in.
He flies at a wall. And then it sends him back in time. But
he's like the opposite of the guys in Minority Report who can see a crime before it happens. For Jean-Claude Van Damme, the crime gets done and then he goes back and stops it.
But if it never happens because he stopped it, how does he see it happen?
And therein lies the plot.
Two universes. He's got the crime universe where everything's just gone to hell in a handcart, and then he's got the good universe where he can go and stop everything. He's split between two realms.
Is he?
No.
But that's another story. Don't steal that.
If every time you change something when you go back in time, it creates two universes, then you're not really correcting anything because the universe where the bad shit happens still exists.
It's just like course correction. So it's still the same timeline. He's going forwards, a crime happens, he sees that crime happening, he then goes back in time to before it's happened and stops it, but he's changing the timeline from that point forwards.
Did you ever see Jet Li's The One?
No.
So in Jet Li's The One, there are 100 or so universes. There's a Jet Li in every single one, there's a Jason Statham in every single one, there's a you and I in every single one. And one of these realms has kind of figured out how to travel interdimensionally into these other places. And then one bad Jet Li starts going around and killing all the other Jet Lis. And as he kills other Jet Lis, he himself becomes more powerful. The power of that Jet Li is distributed across. So,
like opposite Horcruxes.
Yeah. And this guy's aim is to become the one.
It's just a very complicated version of the Highlander.
Yeah, it is. But that deals with some of this stuff, I guess. No one's there are
interdimensional travel.
Yeah.
So let's say you're one of 100 Ryders that exists in 100 different universes. Which Ryder would you be? What would your description be?
Are these Jet Lis all different as well?
Yeah,
I guess that's what you're getting at here, isn't it?
Because if one of them's evil, then not all of them can be evil. They'd all be trying to kill each other.
are they all completely unique?
I'd like to hope I'm the kind one. I'll just try and do nice things when I can. Actually, that's the definition of kind. I don't know if it is, but they're all relatively unique. They're having
it's not Mother Theresa, is it?
But also, there's like a prison planet.
She was a saint.
She just did it for the glory.
That's what Ryder's doing. He just wants acceptance, but on a much smaller scale.
From old men who've got wet at bus stops.
I think you're describing the Pope.
Maybe he did get wet at a bus stop one time. Who knows?
But were you there?
But Jet Li has... In one of them, he's just like a nice guy. He owns a flower shop, I think. In another one, he's like a kick-ass policeman. The other one, he is one of these kind of agents who gets sent through other dimensions, and that's why he starts killing everyone else, because he's like... He does that. He figures out that's a thing. So I guess they're based on circumstance. So it's like there are maybe things that have happened that are beyond their control. That are for example, someone else gets elected to president, and then that makes a split in the timeline. Up until that point, they may have been the same, but then there are other exterior forces that influence their lives.
So they're like an infinite number of Jet Lis.
There's like 130.
So there's like a finite amount of him.
Yeah.
So what decides what deserves its own universe?
I don't know.
I'm going to weigh in on this. I think whenever Jet Li's alive, that's another universe, and if he's dead, that universe ceases to exist.
It just stops. But then would a new one spring up in its place, or when each of these Jet Lis is being killed and the one Jet Li is...
This is my problem with the whole multiverse theory, is that at every single decision point, that's the opportunity for another universe to arise. How many decisions do you make in a day? Like, unconsciously or unconsciously? Maybe 100? 100 a day?
There was this thing
for every single person.
That's going to make
a lot of
billions of
universes
universes.
Can think.
A lot of decisions that we actually make, though, are just based on habit. Like, they're not actual decisions. There's nothing really different to most of our days.
So you're suggesting it's kind of some kind of predestined outcome where it knows we're going to act in a certain way.
You saying we don't have any free will?
I'm not. No,
limited free will. So if it's behaviour in the universe forcing our hand.
What are the limits to free will?
No, I think it's
universe?
more that we just don't make the effort to change our own habitual path. So it's like we go and just do stuff because we've been doing it like that every day.
Is it us or is it the universe that's making us lazy? Let's blame the universe. I'm never doing anything again.
Let's blame how many of us there are.
The universe did it. Do you think there is just kind of some cosmic caretaker?
Oh, I like that.
That's a nice way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah, not God, but like a guy who just does admin. He looks after...
It's the worst civil servant job in the world.
Yeah, he's very lonely. He's just filing infinite amounts of filing cabinets, so he's not even digitised yet. He's just there crossing things off. Yeah, he decides what can be a universe,
how many filing cabinets must this guy have?
He doesn't know, that's it. They keep going, new ones appear every day. So these cosmic delivery men who just come and... cosmic ordering. Do you know about cosmic ordering? Noel Edmonds famously kind of prescribes...
of Deal or No Deal.
Scientology of some description.
It is sort of like it's basically you think about something and want something hard enough, you write like a shopping list for the cosmos, and then you pop it in your pocket, and then you check back every couple of days, see has my cosmic order arrived yet? If it hasn't, you think about it a bit harder.
What? This is Santa. This is writing
pretty
Christmas
much, yeah. But
it's a permanent one every day of the year. Every day's Christmas, Ed.
Noel Edmonds is in charge of it. Remember Noel's Christmas presents he used to do at Christmas? That's basically cosmic ordering. So if you're sick, just sick enough that you've got a wish that Noel Edmonds can fulfil, you cosmic order that.
Could I wish that Noel Edmonds doesn't wake up tomorrow?
That's a harsh
come on,
wish.
you just completely insane.
Look, Ed just wants Noel to have a day off and relax. He's a busy man.
Just because someone has different beliefs to you, Ed, doesn't mean they're insane.
It does, though, if it's cosmic ordering and it's Noel Edmonds.
Right. You go to an insane asylum and nobody's going to have the same beliefs as you there. You can't turn around and say that's a definition for them being sane.
Maybe it is. Maybe they're more sane because they've bucked the trend. They're not subscribing to all the same things that the rest of us do.
God damn, you're right. We've got it all backwards.
Yeah. We all just need to go nuts. We need to find that screw that lets us untap the other 99% of our minds, and then we'll unlock the key to everything. I'm gonna cosmic order that key. Yeah. It's the cosmic screwdriver that's gonna come and
if you could get a door in your head, would you like to just give your brain some air and just like let in all the other stuff?
Like trepanning.
Medically impossible.
Well, sounds like a Dark Age headache remedy. Knock a little hole in the back of your skull.
Insight head.
Your brain just start leaking out all this fluid.
So it's like, it's like our eyes. I was thinking the other day, I've never seen this part of my face. I've seen it in a mirror, but I've never actually seen what it actually looks like.
Because you've got a very skinny face. Ryder is pointing to his cheeks, just
kind
for
the cheekbones
the listener.
Between the nose and the cheek. But it's like, maybe.
What would you gain by seeing it?
Well, I think it's more just like
perspective.
Eyes are the only way that we've perceived the reality that we have. Because we have eyes, but like sharks, for example, have like loads of sensors on their nose and stuff like that. Like I was looking at some stingrays the other day when I went to Deep Sea World, and they've got sensors on their face. And then they've got eyes, but they don't really use their eyes for seeing stuff. But it's like the sensors on their face and then the eyes make up a different kind of way of seeing things.
Birds have compasses inside them.
They do. Eagles have funny heads, don't they? Like they have to wear those hats when they're out and about.
Eagles are Antan. Just got a top hat on.
They're stylish. That's all. Look cool.
Is it eagles who have hollow heads? Owls. Owls have got their wonky ears.
Birds have hollow bones to make them lighter.
Really?
I think so, yeah, and make them easier to fly. They're very light.
Yeah. There's someone who's got a hollow head for some purpose or other.
Well, one of us three?
Maybe. One of us in this room is hollow.
I could hear that from here.
Really?
Yeah.
It did actually hurt.
Yeah. Probably just punched your head quite hard. We all started tapping on our heads to make sure none of our heads were hollow.
And Ed's was.
I'm made of wood.
Yeah.
One day you'll be a real boy. Hello.
Hello.
Question 3.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to respond.
Well, it is a conversation. You can respond.
Okay, good.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
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 Question 3. Hello.
Hello.
Are we alone in the universe?
Ooh.
That's a big one.
I don't mean kind of on an individual basis. Like, I'm not alone in this room, but... Like as
a species,
yeah. Not even as a species, because I've seen some dogs today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a planet.
As a planet.
Okay.
Well, not even as a planet. There's
Jesus.
other planets. Are there other living things that aren't on Earth? Non-Earth-based things.
It's important to define what we mean by this question.
Aliens.
Well, anything off this planet is an alien. Like, if we find like microscopic life on Mars, that's alien life.
It's really shit alien. Though. I'm talking about like intelligent life forms that we can
mind reading
interact with.
Independence Day. Would they not just come and wipe us out like they do in all the films?
Why would they though?
Well, because that's what we would apparently do.
Iron. This entire planet is made of iron.
But if we're just made of iron, there must be another planet that's bigger than us, also made of iron.
That hasn't got life on it.
Like, if we're talking about the infinite universe, like, why us?
Do you ever play Mass Effect? You can go scanning planets for minerals and stuff and launch some probes.
Dullest part of it.
I loved it. It was great. Use a little sensor. You find out where the best bits are.
And you get like 3 iron bars. It's perfectly formed from it. You have to refine the whole planet, but somehow it takes 2 minutes.
Literally no idea what you're talking about.
That's okay. In a game called Mass Effect, you can fly around the universe and you can like scan planets for minerals. Mass Effect, as in Mass Effect.
Ah, right.
Not Mass Effect.
I was thinking something called Massa, and then the word called
Effect.
It's just alone in space. It's completely fake. It's like Gravity.
But that's a good film. You know, I heard about that film. I heard that the budget for that was more than the entire Indian space mission to the moon.
That's annoying.
Yeah, for that one.
Did India go to the moon?
Maybe the moon, or maybe Mars,
the point.
or something like that.
They didn't make it. They didn't have a big enough budget.
Do they even have a rocket? Is that what?
It's just a balloon. They let go.
They just got just outside the atmosphere. Suddenly, it couldn't support itself anymore. It just imploded.
What was that? There was that bloke who sat on an armchair and put a load of helium balloons on it. and then had an air rifle and pretty much got to like the stratosphere or something.
Did he have
like
a
that.
parachute? You need a parachute.
No, I think he froze to death or something like that.
What was he thinking?
He was probably not much.
He'd seen up, but didn't want to waste his whole house, so he just flew off on his chair instead to see if it could be done.
But no, I don't think we are. Like, I hope we're not. It would be pretty lonely otherwise. And if what we understand about like how big the universe is and all of that stuff, it feels like if there was enough chemical chance for life to happen on this place, then there probably is for life to happen on another place. Like Europa. I think Europa, Venus's Mars, Venus's moon. Like it's got it's like a planet made of ice, or it's like it's got a really really big ice sheet, and under the ice there is water. But the gravitational pull of the planet that it's orbiting and another moon is making its internal core churn. So it's like it's heating up the outside of it, and that's what they suspect. Like that heat and then water is what they suspect made life on Earth. So it's like maybe that's happening in our own solar system.
It's kind of like cooking it from the inside to create that perfect storm of having a atmosphere with the. I guess it's got to have the right,
and it's controlled like
gases
area.
and stuff.
On the same side of things, though, on the other side of this, I'm going to say the chances of us ever meeting intelligent life from another part of the universe is going to be so incredibly close to zero that it's almost effectively zero.
I think that would change if we discovered light travel.
The idea of life is very different from the idea of intelligent life or life that we could comprehend or communicate with, or that would be interesting.
I think, basically what we know of other planets at the moment is they're just desolate, the wastelands. Like, if you look at somewhere like the Sahara Desert here, there is life there, but it's almost impossible for it to sustain itself.
Yeah.
And then these planets are just bigger versions of that.
Yeah. Maybe that's just, like, our problem with what we deem as intelligent life. Like, there's loads of other intelligent life here, but we just don't think that it's like as intelligent.
I guess we've been conditioned by sci-fi and kind of the 1950s dream of living on the moon.
That'll happen. 20 years time, we'll be on the moon.
There are some people that have been signed up for a one-way mission to Mars, and there's like 1,000 people that gave their name for wanting to do this. It's in like 15 years' time.
Yeah.
If someone was saying, we're going to this planet, we think there's going to be life, and we can light travel there, but it's only one way, would you do it?
Yeah. I listened to an interview with Chris Hadfield, the spaceman. He said kind of he would, in a heartbeat, snap up the chance, even if it was a one-way mission that is quite likely to fail. He would do it.
It's that bold frontier, isn't it?
It's kind of there's a moment in his life where he just decided to say yes, like it's the only chance you're going to get. Do these fantastical things that no one else is ever going to really get a chance to do, something in the lifetimes that we're currently living. It's going to be generations from now.
What would be your reaction? You got to this planet and there was other forms of life. Maybe it was like Avatar or something. I'm trying to think of a good...
It's like Mars, this big red dusty planet, suddenly a luscious jungle with giant 9-foot blue.
They were just hidden underneath the surface, you know. The red was a...
They just sweep it up a bit and they're like, oh, you're here, finally, hello. It's the longest game of intergalactic hide and seek they've ever had.
Maybe they saw what we did to our own planet and they were afraid.
No.
Right, better put a tarp over it. Don't want them coming.
I guess it does really depend on what you see, but if it was like Avatar, like, approach with caution. Like, there's that whole sort of, you don't want to affect an indigenous tribe, or it's like they could be in their early stages of development. So it's like, I think early on you just have to try and monitor. It depends how many rations you've got, how long can you sustain it. If it's a one-way trip, how can we tell them that we found all this stuff?
A bit of a Bear Grylls as well, you know, survival.
Well, I assume we'd have some supplies given to us when we're going there.
Yeah, like inside your spaceship or something.
Yeah.
But then if you want to live the rest of your life there...
So they should give us like the ability to set up a controlled greenhouse.
That's a good point, actually. On these missions, are they proposing that, or are they expecting people just to get there and then kind of...
Yeah, is it colonization?
What next? This is it. Shit, we gave them enough food to get there because we honestly didn't think they would. They're there now, and the call back home to Mission Control being, we need some food. It's taken like a year to get back. It's relaying through.
Just leave the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
No one listening.
And then it's going to take him another 10 years to deliver any more supplies.
Did either of you see The Martian?
Yeah.
Not yet,
That's basically the premise of that film.
Yeah,
right?
like he becomes the first Martian. Like he colonizes it. He's left there.
He grows vegetables.
I kind of don't want to... it's good. I don't want to give too much away, but like he finds a way to
to survive.
To sustain himself.
Okay, I've got a question then. If we don't want to talk too much about a film that you've not seen.
That's not stopped us before. I don't mind.
Yeah, I know all about R.I.P.D. thanks to you.
We haven't seen it either. Well, my friend Chris has seen it. He said it was quite good. So if we ever do an R.I.P.D. special, we can interview him.
Okay, do you think the first people leaving Britain on a boat? Do you think they felt like this?
I think that's the easiest comparison.
Yeah,
it's
just like frontiersmen.
It's the exploring.
Would they know what they were getting? Where they were going? That they'd be able to survive?
Well, no, I guess they wouldn't. Like, people, when they were still exploring the Earth, thought that the world was flat, so they thought if they went too far that way, they might fall off the edge or whatever.
The main difference there in hindsight is a wonderful thing, because we know it is still all the same planet, and it's basically the same wherever you are, with a few differences. Intergalactically, this other planet doesn't even have the same kind of air that we breathe. There's a whole other bunch of factors that are going to affect your survivability.
Do you think terraforming as a concept is a real thing? Like, do you think that could potentially be done? Then,
so what? Let's just clarify this one.
So, the process of artificially creating an atmosphere for a planet that didn't previously have one.
It's essentially, like, in a very crass way, like little bubble colonies, isn't it? Like, we did that already. Like, we built biomes here where you can have tropical plants growing in the middle of Scotland.
Like a greenhouse, basically.
Yeah, essentially. But you can fill it with kind of your own atmosphere, breathable air, that sort of stuff. And
I think that's kind of natural human behaviour. Maybe it's not natural animal behaviour, because most animals don't manipulate their environments in ways that we do. Manipulate, destroy, but yeah.
Potato.
Yeah. I think terraforming is something we would do. I could see us as a species.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about for the moon, basically, isn't it? We set up little moon colonies where we basically transplant little bits of Earth to a moon to set up a colony where eventually the entire moon could become hospitable. We just start ferrying.
At the same time, let's do a cost-benefit analysis. The cost of getting someone to the moon has got to be tens of millions.
Right now it is, but I think the benefit in the long run is that when kind of global warming finally hits and suddenly we've got
global warming.
Global warming. Have you not heard of this? Basically, worms have been getting bigger as the planet's been getting hotter, and eventually they're just gonna
like
eat all of the inside. Tremors is going to happen, so we're going to go and live on the moon.
Makes sense.
No, I agree with the world is overpopulated. Like in the last 20, 50 years, there's been this massive explosion, and we are running out of space for people.
Basically, building an overspill car park for the incredibly rich. So when the Earth has become too populated, you can go and live on the moon.
You ever see Elysium?
No.
It was basically like all the rich people just get to live on this space facility, and like then there they can cure all illnesses and stuff like that. And then
did they just bomb the world from there as well? Like
something like that. There wasn't. It was a bit weird. It was kind of a bit like they had a halo. Like
isn't it the same guy that did District 9?
Yeah, it was
an expansion on his idea of
the rich versus the poor.
Yeah. And aliens are involved somehow.
Aliens weren't involved.
They weren't? No, they're in space, though.
Yeah.
It's basically the same.
No, I know what
space.
you're going with
Space and aliens. Aliens live in space, therefore aliens and space are the same thing.
Humans colonising other planets makes sense for how quickly we've expanded. I just don't think that NASA this year got given a massive budget from the US government, like much larger than they had any other year. So like there's and like lots of other countries are now starting to have like active space programs, and you've got entrepreneurs.
You've got SpaceX. He's trying to build a reusable rocket that can land. So
it's got a contract with NASA to send their
space agents.
Space exploration is pretty cool as an industry, just because of all the incidental discoveries that they come across as well. So when microwaves invented by NASA and were discovered by them, and GPS is the consequence of them being able to send satellites up into space.
Amazing.
These are things that have practical real world use.
I was going to say my favourite space travel story is about the American and Russian space race, where NASA spent millions of dollars trying to develop a pen that could write in space, and the Russians just sent their cosmonauts up with pencils.
I heard that was an urban legend.
It probably is, but I love it. It's a great
story.
Shit all over it. I love it. I've even...
I've seen so many people shit all over this on the internet.
But I mean, I would love it to be true.
We're not checking facts.
No,
are we?
I mean, maybe the shit they put all over it is also false. Who knows?
Broken my heart here.
I mean, that's
love pencils.
That's us using our
make a
knowledge
love
against yours.
You have
a love pencil.
That's what you said.
No,
something about love pencil.
You just said, let's make a love pencil.
Yeah, but
that's what we're going to use the moon for. Giant love pencils. Too much for Earth. Keep your shit on the moon.
maybe that's what we'll do with the moon. Just put all the shit there.
Well, like when we filled up the sea with all our garbage, we'll just put it on the moon instead.
Should have said episode of Futurama where they just release all the garbage from the Earth.
And then it comes back to get them, though.
It does, and then they have to release another...
It smells really bad.
They have to release another bigger ball of garbage. A full bit.
I mean, if we get to that point where we're so accepting of each other, if we were to encounter another species, couldn't we just be like, hey, let's just share things?
No,
I don't think so.
Because it would be something so new and foreign to us. The concept of someone being foreign on Earth won't exist anymore, but then you've got this Venetian guy showing up from Venus, not from Venice.
Yeah.
Because we're fine with him.
Yeah.
Italians are okay now. And this alien guy just shows up, and then suddenly he's the new foreign, he's the new minority, he's the new person who's coming to Earth and taking all our jobs. We won't be happy with that.
Maybe they become our pets.
Well, how do you think? Have you seen Starship Troopers?
Maybe.
Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
Where they're giant bugs.
Yeah, giant bugs instead of but they are intelligent life forms, but they have their own hive systems and stuff like that. Or Ender's Game, that's another good one. And it's this sort of thing is intelligent life in a different way. So it's there's just a big version of ants, if you know what I mean, or other kinds of bugs.
I suppose our hostility towards them would also depend on whether they're trying to kill us.
Yeah.
You know, the giant bugs in Starship Troopers are pretty murderous and dangerous.
Yeah. Right? But was that just a territorial thing?
Yeah.
And was it just that was an instant reaction?
We're the invading aliens at that point. I didn't say
invading aliens.
Invading aliens.
Too long in Scotland. We're invaders at that point, and I guess they would naturally fight.
Have either of you ever read or seen the John Carter books or the movie?
Yeah,
I didn't see the movie. Was it any good?
I actually really like the movie. The books are fantastic. Well, they're very pulpy, but yes, the idea of this human man who ends up on Mars, and then because the gravity is less, he's suddenly this super being. He's basically a superhero on Mars because he can jump really high, he can basically fly.
Jump so far.
There's no resistance. His strength is multiplied by hundreds of times, and so he becomes a king to the Martians that live there. They've got their own little warring factions. It's exactly the same as Earth is, and he sides with one of them and becomes their leader, their general. And he's just this superhuman being who can kind of outwit the controls set in place by the planet. He's not bound by gravity. He's not bound by
if I were to resistance. Shoot him, though, surely his skin is still as.
Oh yeah, but he can move
dodge,
so quick and stuff, and the force coming from him. If he were to just try and slap whatever you shot him out of the sky, his hand would be able to move so quick and at such a rate he could probably just.
Quite an underrated film.
It's apparently one of the biggest box office flops of all time.
Yeah, it had one of the largest budgets ever, but just didn't make it.
It could have been wonderful.
Really?
But Disney, I think they spent a lot of money on marketing, but then didn't actually market the film. They had to reshoot a load of it. They didn't publicise it at all, and then wondered why no one went to see it.
Is it a good film? Would you recommend watching
it? I quite enjoy it. It's fun. It's not a fantastic movie by any means.
It sounds kind of like Planet Hulk. If you ever read that, it was the Hulk. Decided that Hulk was too dangerous, so they sent him through a wormhole, and then he turns out
he was there as a
planet.
Yeah, he was a prisoner to start with, and then he won all the.
And then he was
Colosseum battles.
He just beat the crap out of everyone and became the ruler of the world.
And then invaded Earth.
Yeah, it was amazing. World War Hulk. And he just kills everyone. It was great.
He's the Hulk.
There's a moral story in there somewhere.
I read a thing with Stan Lee, an interview recently, where he said a lot of the science in the early Marvel comics was somewhat based in fact, but the only thing he didn't have an explanation for was Bruce Banner's pants when he Hulked out. And the fact his pants wouldn't break, and that's the one reason he doesn't like the Hulk.
So are Bruce Banner's pants the strongest things in the universe?
Well, no, that is just magic.
Ah, okay.
That is the one
that's
thing
just
that science can't.
unexplained.
Exactly. Eventually, there'll be a reason. But I guess Bruce Banner was a good scientist, wasn't he? Maybe he developed those and he's just not sharing the secret.
There was
he's keeping that locked under key.
That's his secret package.
Yeah. You'll never see his package, Ed. His pants are too strong. So what have we learnt today?
So how many universes were there in the end? A few.
One or an infinite amount?
Yeah, I guess it's one of the others.
Which is basically the same.
And what about the other questions?
We'd all... Well, time...
Time basically is the right answer.
We'd want a free start, yeah.
Is gravity a constant?
Gravity is a
or
force.
is that too...
I guess it's just a description.
But it's a constant force to us.
If I could control gravity, that would be cool.
Because then I could be John Carter on Earth.
Yeah.
I would even change my name for that.
John Carter of Earth.
Yep.
Nice.
There's probably plenty of people called John Carter on Earth, but I'd be the best.
Yeah.
Be able to run really quick, jump. I'd learn to swim.
Would you be able to run faster if you had less gravity, or would you just be able to have big strides?
I guess say big strides, but that would probably contribute to having more quick speed.
But
maybe
gravity
you
would
could just push off and you could just fly.
Yeah. Gravity would contribute to the resistance against you.
Flying would be great. That would be a great superhero power. But that's not the question, was it?
But if you could control gravity, you would basically be able to fly.
Could you control gravity within like a bubble around you?
You control gravity. You can do whatever you want. You can make a black hole.
Like Magneto.
Speaking of black holes, I was looking into it a while ago. The picture I saw, the diagram, was basically a U-shaped universe where it has a start and an end. And then the black hole feeds back into the universe at an earlier point.
Huh.
That's not my understanding. My understanding is like a star that's so big burns out of all its energy.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing keeping it really big anymore because all the energy is what was keeping it so huge. So the mass of it starts to make it get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and tighter and tighter. So it's so dense until it eventually collapses in on itself, and its gravity is so strong that it attracts literally everything, including light.
Yeah. So it's the absence of everything. But then I think it can kind of tear the fabric of the universe. You're bending light, you're bending time as well. It's these other dimensions that we can't see. So you get sucked into that black hole, and then it pops out somewhere in the past before everything that got sucked into it.
Have we seen black holes? We do know they are real, right?
That's what makes a galaxy spin, is a supermassive black hole in the middle.
Yeah.
Of it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So I think they do exist.
So if you went inside it, you could pop out. I mean, we don't know.
That's kind of what happens in Interstellar, doesn't it? That scientific...
that documentary.
Movie. Yeah. So that's where I get my knowledge from. He goes in there, and then he's somewhere else.
I love Matthew McConaughey.
Have you ever seen...
I haven't seen that film.
Mud?
No, I haven't. But there was the reconnaissance that happened.
Yeah, that was one of the early reconnaissance films.
Yeah.
Mud, I recommend that.
Yeah, True Detective.
It's a wild man.
Yeah.
But so black holes, do they come out somewhere? Is it like going down a universe scale slide?
Maybe.
You're a space duck, you've gone in.
I would
Isn't
say
that what a wormhole is? Like a wormhole is like it's just a hole somewhere that bends through.
Is that where I'm getting
Turn
confused?
up on the other side.
I think a black hole, it's like getting into a car crusher. You would just end up a tiny
What if you're
version
really
of
small?
yourself.
What if you're Ant-Man?
But you wouldn't be a version of yourself because you'd be like completely creamed.
There'd be several versions of yourself spread all over the wall.
You would be everywhere. Yeah. I don't know if...
Let's send organic life through it. It'll get all smushed up and stuff like that. And then the blood will land on another planet, and that will just start life again. Bam. Fixed it.
It's a pretty big conclusion.
So like one of those big pneumatic tubes you used to get to deliver messages around large office buildings. Just pop something in a black hole, shoots off to accounting. That is where the universal caretaker gets his messages. You pop something into a black hole, it comes into his office. He's like, oh yeah, I'll act on that. Add that to my to-do list. My infinite to-do list.
Following that theory, if I may, with like it popping out earlier in time. Say if we got like a herd of cows transported to a black hole and sent them through it, and if it pops out at an earlier point in the universe,
like, can we jumpstart evolution at an earlier point? Maybe that's what's already happened.
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe there is no start or end point. It is just
a never-ending loop.
Yeah, it's an infinite cycle. Is that right?
Yeah.
Does that sound factual?
Uh-huh.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
My brain is fried.